Hello everyone, welcome back. Today let's solve the 35th top coding entry question from 48 top coding questions curated by Leetcode. We'll solve this problem using Python. This is a maximum subarray problem. So what they have given is they have given a list of numbers in the form of arrays. So what you have to find out is the subarray which gives the maximum sum, largest subarray with the largest sum. So example, so if you see, so basically we have to sum the elements of arrays that makes the maximum sum. For example, let's say if I take only, let's say, imagine these three numbers are the maximum subarrays, which gives the maximum sum. So will it give? No, it will not. So if you see -2 +1 -1 and -3, right, which is -4. So it is not a maximum subarray, it is going in negative direction. So somehow if you see the output is 6, what is that maximum subarray is this number 4 -1 2 2 and 1, so which is nothing but the largest sum is 6. So if include -5 in this, so it will become 1, right, because if subtract minus 5 in the 6, it will become 1. So you don't include 5. So if you again include, let's say, this number -3, then it will become 3 only. So that becomes again that's not a subarray. So somehow you have to make sure that you find out a subarray which gives the maximum sum. So those elements you have to find out. There are many ways to solve this problem. One of the simplest way, you iterate through each and every element. You take this element and then try to add, and then so on and so forth. You go in a multiple loops and then try to come up with a solution. That's one way. The second way is, you are trying to do a maximum sum, right? So whenever you try to add these numbers, right, when you try to add these continuous number, whenever you find number which is less than 0, right, I mean, when you try to add these numbers and you find a sum which is less than 0, it makes no sense, right? So you to proceed further, so anyway they are 0, so it will not at all add to get a maximum sum. So what you have to do is we have to skip those elements where the combination of those elements sum is becoming 0. So example, let us go through this example. So if you see here, so let's take this example. So I start with -2, -2 plus 1, right? I'll take the first element and then try to add this. So obviously this becomes -1. So -1 is less than 0. I'll ignore it. I'll basically ignore. Then I take to the next element. Again, basically this is the first element. I ignore it. It's less than 0. I ignore it. I don't proceed. Okay, I'll start with this element. So I'll start with this element, and then next element I'll try to add the next element, which is -3. So then that it becomes less than 0, right, which is -2. I'll ignore these three elements. I'll ignore these two elements. I'll not at all consider in my summation. Now next is 4. Okay, I'll take the 4 and then I'll try to add these elements, 4 plus -1, which is 3, plus plus 2, right, and 2 plus 1. So this becomes 6. That is the maximum element. But if I add -5 here, again -5 here, so then what becomes? It becomes basically 1, right? So that is not a maximum subarray, sum of maximum subarrays. So what we have to do is we also have to have a pointer. We'll have to have a pointer where, so put answer as 0. So I mean answer as 0 or starting element. So basically you try to compare that answer with each time when you add these elements, right? So for the first time, let's say you considered the sum as -2. -2, okay, this is the first element you try to put as answer, and then you compare that. 2 is it maximum greater than these elements, or 2 is less than the sum of these elements. If this is the sum, so you maximum element then some previous sum, then you try to replace this, and then you keep adding the elements. So whenever you get the number which is equivalent to 0 or less than 0, so you nullify it, and then you try to keep the values in some one variable called sum. So I have a code. I'll show you what I'm trying to say here. I'll just put a debugger. These all the pointers. I'll simply put two debugger points, and I'll go here, and then yeah. So I'll simply so I'll simply run and debug, right? Run and debug points. So here, if you start with this, so first element, I'm saying that this is the maximum sum. Imagine this is the maximum sum, first element, which is minus 2. Minus 2 is the first. Imagine that is the first element. Now then what I'll do is I'll iterate through each and every element. I'll iterate through each and every element. And then there is also something like current sum. Current sum is, so each iteration when you add, I'll try to compare that with the maximum sum, right, which is the answer. So I'll try to compare. So there are two pointers I have. One is the each element I'm trying to add to the sum, and then I also have a maximum sum, which is the answer. So now imagine the first element, which is this, that is the maximum answer. Okay, so and then I'll try to add current sum as 0. So if current sum, which is, the current sum is 0, so right, current sum is 0. Now what is it? If it is less than 0, if the current sum is less than 0, I'll make it to 0, right? If it is negative, I'll make it to 0. If not, I'll go in this element. So now I have, for the first time, I is minus 2, that becomes 0 plus minus 2, which becomes minus 2, right? Okay, all right, this is minus 2. Obviously, when it becomes minus 2, basically I have to ignore this. I don't have to consider this, right? It's not part of sum at all. So now here, between minus 2 and minus 2, obviously this is also minus 2, answer is minus 2, and this is also minus 2. It doesn't make sense, so it will keep the number as is. Now next element is I value becomes 1. So 1, but here the current sum, which is minus 2, right? So it makes it to 0. It makes it to 0 because it is less than 0. Okay, so now current sum will become 0 because I don't have to consider that as a current sum. I don't have to consider. Now current sum I value is 1, current sum is 0, so it becomes 1. Now here is the answer. So maximum what we put is, maximum answer is what we have put is this minus 2. Now we have a current sum as 1, so which is the among these two, which is the maximum. Current sum is the maximum, which is 1, so we'll put 1 here. You'll put 1 here. You change, it got changed. Next you go to 3, minus 3. The maximum sum is 1, so you go to minus 3, and then you add that element. Current sum is still 1, so it becomes minus 2. So it will reset again once the iteration, once the iteration is done. So you reset, right? Now 0. Okay, so because it was less than 2, right? So it becomes 0. So again you take the next element, you take current sum. Okay, I think it got skipped. All right, I lost the track. Let me just show you one more time. Run and debug. I'll simply, because I went in a hurry, so I'll put it. I value is now 1, maximum sum. Next I value is 3, right? Minus 3. Now current sum is 1, so minus 3, minus 2. So okay, current sum is minus 2. And the maximum between 1 and minus 2 is 1, so you ignore. Now current sum becomes again 0 because it's minus 2. We need, all right. Now here, now it comes the 4 plus 0 plus 4, right? Now here you have an answer as 1 and 4, which is the maximum. 4 is the maximum. You keep the 4, you keep this element. You ignored all of these elements at all. You ignored, they don't come in the maximum subarray, sum of maximum largest subarrays. They don't come at all. So it will start from here. It will be basically, it's like a resetting. If you get a sum which is less than 0, so you reset. You don't consider those left side elements at all. So now you go here again. Now you have minus 1, right? So it will become 3, right? Current sum becomes 3, which is fine. So answer is still the number which you have. Maximum answer is still 4, right? And then next you basically keep adding the current sum. Current sum becomes 2, right? 2, again 2. So this current sum, okay, so obviously, so it was the previous element plus, so current sum, now maximum becomes 5, right? So 4 minus 1, which is 3, and now 2 added 5, it become 5. The maximum, which was 4 before, which was this, now it became 5. Again, more so on, you go again here. I becomes, right? So I, now you have a current sum as 5, now it becomes 6. So the answer is 5, now it becomes 6, so maximum value will be 6, right? It becomes 6. Now next element is minus 5. So minus 5, current sum is 6, so it will become 1, right? It becomes 1 here. Yeah, current sum is 1. So maximum 1 upon 1 of 6. So 6 is maximum, so it will ignore and it goes to the next step, right? Next step is 4. 4 current sum is 1, 4 plus 1 5, and now yeah 5, current sum is 6 and minus 6 and 5, maximum is 6. So I hope you get it. It's a simple problem. All we are doing is we are just simply resetting if the number goes less than 0. So that's the same solution I have. If you just submit it, you will get it. The answer. This is the 2 pointers. Each iteration we are trying to add the previous elements, and then we are trying to reset that element whenever the number goes below 0. And at the same time we are comparing with the one of the pointers, like one of the reference points. We're comparing that with the maximum sum. If current sum is greater than maximum sum, so you put the current sum as a maximum sum, which is this. Else whatever the answer is there in the previous one, it will continue. That's all guys. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.